Big up, big up, big up, and welcome to Liverpool 12th Man Show. We are just getting in at the 7 o'clock hour, but we are here all the same, and we are going to definitely have a cool little show. Have a little bit of a game hangover from yesterday, I guess. So we are going to get a pretty cool show going for you guys today, in one that we can at least find a couple of different things to talk about, and that's certainly some things that are in the news today. There's been some really, really interesting players that we've been linked with. There's been some certainly some warranted and very, very anticipated returns by some players to the team that's going to be going on now. There's also been some updates on certain players that have left their national teams to come back to Liverpool. So we are definitely going to have some fun topics to talk about. Get your opinions in there as well, so we can always find out what it is that you think and how you feel about the subjects. And we brought a good panel together, and obviously we're hoping that we get a good group of Reds together in the chat, and it looks like we're already starting to get that going on right now. I see Bernie in the chat, so hello to Bernie as well. Lee, how are you doing today?
I'm good, mate. Ready for the Wednesday war.
Exactly. And Brian, how are you doing today? Oh, Brian's on mute. I see him now, so he's he's most likely taking care of something. Hopefully Coco is okay. Hopefully that's not, or maybe she wants to get on air herself. You know how sometimes she likes to be a part of the broadcast because she's a Red as well. So I wanted to get into jump right into some of what we do know is going down, and that is that we have the return of some players that are going to be joining us. Okay, I see your message, Brian. We're going to be getting some return of players to the lineup, or at least to the options of what we can draw on. And one of those players is Harvey Elliott. Another one of those players is Alisson, is supposed to be making his return from pretty lengthy sidelines. And then we also might even be seeing the return of a Chiesa. Chiesa might be one of the names that is going to be returning to the line, or at least as an option of a player that we can hope to find joining us. Still no real word about Diego, and his return looks like he might be out for a couple extra days on that list. So that's unfortunate to hear, and it's something that I think all of us want to or wish we were hearing better news about. But it's certainly news that we will get better. We'll see Diego return. It's not something that's season ending or anything like that. It's more like just get him healthy and watch for his return. There was some things, though, I did want to ask you guys in the chat, and I also wanted to bring it up for the panel as well. Big up High Lord, by the way, and Red for Life. Big up to both of you guys joining us. There is something I wanted to ask, and this is something that I want to say with, I guess you could say with all due respect and the likes, right? In that, one of those cases where it's not like a knock on, hey, I'm saying this player is better than that player or anything like that. More so, I'm saying because of injuries or because of the player getting back to health and being included possibly in the roster, where we're going to go forward with it. And I guess the first one we can start off with, and at least this is the question I can start off with to everyone, is we have these two gentlemen that are going to be on the roster, on the actual team sheet, coming up against possibly Southampton. The big question that I had was, do you start Ali in the Southampton game, or do you allow for Kelleher to start the game and give Ali, a couple more days in training, a little bit more of a on ramp towards getting back to everyday use on the team? Because certainly, this isn't a saying that I think Kelleher should be our number one goalkeeper or anything like that. What I am saying, though, a healthy Kelleher and a healthy Ali, what is your ideas as to where you bring the transition in, and how do we make that transition smooth so that we can make sure that we don't miss a beat? I'm going to ask that question first to I see, okay, Brian is joining us again. I'll ask this question first, though, to you, Lee, and then I'll ask Brian the same question. And in the chat, tell us what you think, too. Tell us what you think as well. I'll always be more than willing to include your comments with our discussion. So, Lee, what are your thoughts?
For me, if he's fit, I put him straight back in because I want him to have at least one game under his belt before we face Real Madrid and Man City. Do you know what I mean? Goalkeepers can get back into their rhythm quite quickly, but I would like him to have a game before Real Madrid and Man City. And it's harsh on Tweeden because he's done really well, but Ali is the best goalkeeper in the world, and if he's fit, I'd want him to play so he gets back in the rhythm. Rather than just coming in straight away to Real Madrid, I want him to have had a game before then.
Okay. I see some are already. That's what I love about our chat, is that they definitely helped out with the show by contributing, and I appreciate that completely.
The thing is, it's no reflection on Tweeden. Like, if Ali comes straight back in, it's not that he hasn't done brilliantly, because he has. He's done excellently for us, but Ali's the best goalie in the world, and hopefully, do you understand what I'm saying about him getting into his rhythm? Keepers can do it quicker, generally get back into a rhythm, but you want him to have, a succession of games so he sharpens up, and hopefully he'll be sharp enough for Real Madrid and Man City, and might be one of the differences on the day in both them games.
Bernie, I think, saying Ali will need match fitness, so she'd give them equal time at Southampton. Okay, so you think maybe give maybe, I don't know, Ali the start, or maybe even give Kelleher to start. Certainly, I think probably give Kelleher to start and then bring in Ali in the second half. Okay. Hylor is saying too early for Alisson after the injury. He thinks Kelleher should start, but make no mistake, Alisson is all the world's best goalkeeper. Okay.
Yeah, only if he's right and he's fully fit. I don't want him to come back in. I don't want a half fit Alisson trying to come back too early. I want him to play when he's properly fit. But as I say, I do want him to get into the rhythm quickly, because they're two massive games for me. See, people will say, like, the Real Madrid game isn't massive because we've got so many points already. But for me, it is. I think not massive, but it is very important that we put on a good display against Real Madrid and hopefully beat them. Because, what could be better before facing Man City for the side's confidence than beating Real Madrid? And that's the way I'm looking at that game. Okay, we could afford to lose it and we'll still go through, but I don't want us to lose it or draw it. I want us to use it as a stepping stone to beat City, and then we're 8 points ahead of them, aren't we?
Okay. Brian, what's your opinion on this subject?
Yeah, hello to everybody. Quick answer: if he's fit enough to be on the bench, he starts. If you're fit enough to be on the bench, that means you're fit enough to play if, doomsday scenario, Keller handles outside the box after 2 minutes and gets a red card. So there's a whole game to play. If you're fit enough to play that whole game, I would start him because Southampton is a nice soft landing to come back to. Like Lee said, it's not his first game back is not going to be Madrid. It's not going to be Man City. It's going to be, touch wood, a handy enough game for us. So bring him back in. Like if he's anyway short, don't take the risk. Don't even put him on the bench and 100%. Then you've got Keller starting. But if he's back to the point where he's on the bench, and the only thing holding him back is the fact that you didn't want to drop Keller, no, I'd get him straight back in the team. And then, like Lee said, he's got 90 minutes under his belt for probably the two biggest games of the season. So, well, definitely the Man City game is the biggest game of the season. We've got such a good lead now in the Champions League. That Real Madrid game is kind of irrelevant. It will be at the end of the.
And we know Ali can be different in tight games. Like as good as he is, Ali's that bit better, and he can be the difference in tight games against your biggest opponents. That's why I want to see him soon as.
And it is like you were saying, and everyone was saying, it's absolutely no slight whatsoever on Keller. I mean, the guy couldn't have done a better job. But he said it in his interview, which I always go back to. He said, "I know myself as the position. I know that when Ali is fit, he's going to play. He's going to be in the team. So that's what he would be expecting." But I just think if he's anyway short, don't rush him back. Don't even bother putting him on the bench. Give him another weekend off to recuperate, and we have Kelleher there. And then, okay, it might not be ideal, but he can come back in for City then. But what would I'm not really. I haven't seen full training updates. But if they're already talking about him being ready now today, I think he's probably going to start. I couldn't see a scenario where we have Keller starting and Ali on the bench. That's all I'm saying. Either start Kelly and leave Allison out altogether, or if Ali's ready to come back, then just bring him back. Do you know what I mean? I can't see an Ali being on the bench scenario.
Okay. I was going to say there are times when a player does get the nod to be on the bench, but yet at the very same time, he's not able to give a full 90. So if that's the scenario,
don't want that with him.
Do you still start?
No, I don't want the risks with it. I don't want Ali coming back until he's 100% because of what he's coming back from, even if it just means another weekend. Because the flip side of it, me saying it's a nice soft landing for Ali to have that game. The flip side of that is if he's not quite ready yet, it's Southampton. We're fine. Kelleher will be absolutely perfect for that game.
Yeah, there's no way they're going to rush him.
Don't risk him. Don't rush him. No, don't rush him.
Will be the right one, I'm sure.
Because we're coming into the hectic period now. We're coming into the hectic period where there's going to be games every 3, 4 days. So the last thing you want to do is rush him back for a game against Southampton, and then he pulls up again, and then he's out till past Christmas.
Right.
I think keep him, hold him back until for a fact that you can't say nothing's going to happen, but until because I just think it's a great game to bring Ali back in because it's a good opponent, but if he's not, it's also cool. We're fine. Yaros, Kelleher, away we go.
Okay. Let's see what anyone else has put in any comments. I will bring that up, Hylor, in a second. Your comment right there. Red Armchair Supporter says he agrees with you, Lee. No need to rush him back. It's rush him back too early. Take no risks with Ali, he's saying. Bernie's also saying he can't see the club putting Ali on the bench if he's not fit. Right. And again, there's parts and points where you can maybe have fitness. It's just more like they just say, I know that they've put on there oh, well, we can only get 60 minutes out of him, and we want to give him a good run. So the most that you want to get is 60 minutes or something like that. I've seen cases where that scenario has been presented on some players. Where's the other one? Oh, KJ's asking this one too. This is it's a segue question, but I'll bring it up right now. Anyone heard the rumors about Kelleher to Chelsea? I have heard about those rumors.
Yeah, I come across that today. Yeah,
we have heard about that. Wouldn't be the first player that we've obviously transferred to Chelsea. It's pretty interesting considering how Chelsea is wanting Kelleher. If the rumors are true, it's kind of interesting if they are wanting Kelleher as their next goalie, but they are going to be, they're being so childish. I could say possibly in the way that they're treating our ability to go and look at games for the youth academy players, that, you know, with that rumor about how they were taking away our access to the to like having all access to the games when it comes to, since the Rio dust
no
up.
free sausage rolls for the scouts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
They have to pay for their own tea.
yeah. I'm gonna star your comments, High Lord, so we can come back to them when we start bringing this.
I had seen the transfer rumor about us being pairing to even go, but I hadn't seen that he'd been linked with Chelsea. I hadn't seen that bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I saw the story about us letting both of them go next year, but I didn't see any clubs linked with him.
Yeah. KJ is saying Kelleher deserves a spot. I know Ali is world class, but he has to fight for his shirt back from Hassan. I got you. Yeah. I've always been a person that does still. I know it's something that at least has been ingrained in me a little bit, that I get when a player is definitely doing well, like as in he's in form and the likes, and everyone's like, just play him, just play him, just play him. But I also know that I definitely appreciate the fact of you shouldn't lose your starting role because of injury. Like as long as you're, if it's because you were playing poorly, that's a different story. If Ali had been playing poorly and Kelleher had stepped in and been playing well, or even if Kelleher, Ali had been playing poorly, got injured, and then was brought in, then that's a different story. That's a slightly different story. I can slightly adjust my comment to fit that point.
Yeah,
but,
there's a third version of it, definitely. Mm-hmm. If there's a guy, like you're saying, Ali, and he'd been like, you know, hypothetically been terrible for a month.
Right.
And then you lose your spot. But I get totally what you're saying. If you've been playing out your skin and you're out for a couple of weeks because you get a knock.
Yeah, we shouldn't have to like fight for your position back.
The boss man is back, really, isn't he? I think it's just that the boss man is back and everyone knows you were only keeping his seat warm, as it were.
Yeah, we got that extra bit more when he's in goal, haven't we? With Virgil and Ibu. On a good day, like it's a very strong back line, isn't it? Like before we even think of the rest of the team.
I think the difference between them in quality has narrowed a great deal.
Yeah, you can see Cleveland's got better since he's got
much better.
Like he's improved. I mean,
that's the last 18 months, maybe. I mean, obviously the difference between Kelleher when he broke into the team and Ali was a lot, but I think Kelleher's done a lot of work to really narrow that.
Yeah, he has.
Ability gap, you know.
Hence
why you have people like Chelsea being linked with him. You know, this is what we were saying. Sorry, no, I was just saying, like, this is what, like, who would he join? It's he's too good for a Wolves or a Bournemouth. Now you're going to see the likes of Chelsea being linked with him. You know, now you're going to see him being linked with big clubs.
Right.
You know, not Wolves, not Southampton, not these kind of guys. I think he's shown to the world now. He's announced himself a little bit.
Right.
So, yeah, this is what I was expecting. I was expecting him to be linked with the upper tier of clubs, not those guys down there. Because Wolves is
now is like, do you want him in the Prem though? I mean, like, I've always been about like, I know Prem's where Premier money is, you know, good money. Obviously, you're gonna get the Premier quote unquote tax. But I mean, like,
no, look. He's an Irishman, so I'll follow his career. Even like I wouldn't forgive him for joining Chelsea. I wouldn't be happy about it. But as an Irishman, I'll follow his career, and you know, I'll support him. Like Lee was saying about Trent, as a Scouser, he'll support him out in the world, whatever he's doing, wherever he goes. You know, he back a local lad. Kelleher, to me, I'll always follow him. I'll always back him. Even if he was at Man United or Chelsea, I suppose you'd kind of have to, I'll support him when he's wearing green then. But, for me, it is. I don't really mind if he stays in. I just want him to be really good and have a really good career and play well for Ireland. So the higher level he's playing. But it would be amazing. It would be absolutely brilliant to see him at a PSG and Atletico Madrid and Inter Milan, something like that. That would be awesome. To see an Irish goalkeeper out there on the world stage.
That's my point. Is that I can get on board with something like that, like having to see him maybe in a Champions League match or something like that, or something along those lines. All about that. That's cool. I mean, it'll be difficult, still all the same to face him and know that the affection that we have for him as a Red, or as possibly as a former Red at any time. But go ahead.
Sorry, Nalante will be in after 8:30.
Okay. But yeah, I was just getting at, like, that's something that I still wouldn't mind not having to deal with if it meant we have to deal with a reverse set of circumstances, like seeing him in. Considering we see Chelsea so often in these League Cups, for instance, and these other, like fixtures outside of the league as well, knowing that we might have to see him as the goalkeeper, that would be.
How many games ago did he come into the side? How long's Alisson's injury been? Is it about 7 games? Is it? Kel's
he's
been
at
in goal
6. He's at 6 games in the league. I think
1, 2 in the league. Yeah, I was gonna say
6.
let's just go in all overall. Let me see. I'll see if I can find out overall. Like,
if we win the league, that's a good way towards the quota that you need to get a medal. I think 6 appearances.
Oh,
what was the game that Ali got hurt?
Yeah, they've lowered that.
What was the game that Ali got hurt in?
Is it Chelsea or something? Shit.
It was Chelsea. It was Chelsea. It was Chelsea because
because Kelleher started against Chelsea. Okay.
Or no, sorry. What was that? Because
he must have got hurt in the Crystal Palace game.
Palace, yeah. It was. What's the guy's name? Eze broke down. Eze broke through 1-on-1 with him. Remembering that he'd only just come on.
Right.
And, no, that was Yaros. Sorry, that was
Yaros.
It
was a Trent back pass to Ali, remember? Wherever it was, Trent did the back pass to Ali, and Ali went to do it with his left foot.
That's how he went down. Yeah, because you could tell that he was like, he tweaked it, and then, but yet the pass was he still had to like take on the kick. And I was like, oh man, this is gonna make it even worse. But like
Agent Trent working for Real Madrid already.
Yeah. Like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. You're right. 7 overall in all comps games. I don't know. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Wait, 1, 2, 3. I think 4 games in the league.
Okay.
Because I know the Leverkusen game was Champions League. Brighton. One of the Brighton matches was a League Cup, and then we had a Red Bull match thrown in there too. So, yep, 2 in the Champions League, one in the league. Yep. So,
I mean, just quickly on that 12. I mean, if you were asking me as an agent to sell something, and by something I mean the idea of buying a player, the idea of improving your squad with a player, I would be pointing to the fact that my client is currently the number 1 goalkeeper. At the moment, he is the number 1 goalkeeper for the team that's top of the league in England and top of the Champions League and playing for a team the size of Liverpool. Right. I mean, his stock has never been higher right now. His stock will possibly never be higher than it is right now. So I think, and I'm really happy for him, that if he does want to move on, that he's gotten to the point where he'll be moving on to a really, really good team. He won't have to settle for a crappy move to Portsmouth or something just to get games and then maybe work his way back to a team. I'm just really happy for the guy, and that just means that if we've got players like that are being linked with big clubs, so that's because they're doing well for us, and they're doing well for us. That means we're doing well.
Right.
But I think we'll never 100% commitment from him. We will have 100% commitment from him.
Absolutely.
From now to the end of the season.
I've never wavered or never questioned his commitment. I've never questioned his commitment. And I never looked at it as like he's just looking at, trying to angle this as a way to get out of Liverpool. I always thought of it as like he would play for the badge regardless. So
yeah, that won't be an issue. His commitments.
Yeah. I saw the comment also by let me bring this back up. I got you, Honesty. I got your question or your comment starred. I'll bring it up with Tyler's comments in a bit.
If we did manage to win the league, I don't think fans would be as upset then about him leaving. If his last game was the last day, and we picked the trophy up on that day and then he leaves, people will hopefully just, will not be so angry then about it.
I get this comment too by Hylor. He's saying, and I'm going to bring up because it's related to what KJ had to say as well. So Repli says, we hold grudges. I got you, brother. He goes, Hylor says, this is a paradox with Kelleher. Not many clubs in Europe can afford him outside of England, and that kind of money isn't usually spent on a keeper in Europe. That I agree with. The kind of money that
we spoke on that all summer, didn't we? I mean, we spoke about that 1,000 times during the summer, that basically in the Premier League, for a team in the Premier League to be in a position where they're happy to spend what we would want for a team or for a player like Kelleher, a goalkeeper, is it's a very few and far between scenario. It was like, okay, all of these, you could name 10 clubs, you could name 15 clubs in the Premier League who would start him tomorrow. He would be better than their keeper. He would walk into their team, whatever way you want to put it. Maybe not 15, but 12, but they won't go out and buy him. But they wouldn't. Those teams were not going. They'd start him, but they wouldn't go out and give Liverpool £30 million for him. And like Hyder was saying, on the continent, spending more than 12 million, 14, 15 million on a goalkeeper is rare. Even
there isn't a tradition of paying like astronomical amounts for goalkeepers, is there? There's been a few notable exceptions. Alisson was one. I was shocked when we paid that money for the keeper. Obviously, it was money well spent. And then Chelsea went and did what they did with Kepa, like hot on the heels of us buying Alisson, and showed you how not to do it. But you just don't see keepers for like outrageous amounts. 30 million, I think I remember seeing in the wasn't Bartes 30 million for Man United.
I will admit that I did like the I think maybe he chose this color specifically because of his affiliation with the Reds, but this is a pretty cool I like the red. You don't see often a keeper in all red. It's a pretty cool.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah,
it's a good one, right?
Yeah. Nothing good there.
Yeah, I don't know about the guy that the redhead that's going. Yeah, I'll leave that one alone actually. But anyway,
no, that's just our away keeper kit.
I like it though.
Time for Ireland. Yeah. It's not. I'm not mad at it. I've never. We don't do that. It's not. We don't play with a red keeper kit. We've never seen that before. We have. Yeah. I mean, we don't really change our kits are pretty standard, but never. It's not a color we've ever worn really. So a new departure maybe, but.
Atletico Madrid got Jan Oblak for peanuts, didn't he? He's a good goalie, Jan Oblak. But
he was just as good as Ali in terms of kind of keeper stats there for years and all that. He was one of those guys that if you wanted him, he was going to cost you 80 million. They're quoting
Right.
80 million for him.
Yeah.
You know, he was one of the
Right.
few guys, like you were talking about keepers moving for big money. He was one of the few guys out there that were like, no, he costs you the same money as a striker would.
He is
I don't think he's as good.
Isn't he? He's an excellent goalie, that bloke.
He's more old school. Oblak is much more of an old school kind of traditional shots, goalkeeping first kind of thing. He wouldn't be Ederson, he's not saying he can't play ball, but yeah, Oblak is much more of the traditional kind of goalkeeper first and then ball playing second. So he wouldn't be your maybe playing it out from the back type keeper. Not saying he can't, but
no, you're right. He might
Simeone,
struggle in that with that.
We played for a long time under Simeone, which
KJ, real quick, who are you speaking on about this as well? That you've said it before, and he'll say it again. Give him a 2-year loan deal to a Champions League club so we future-proof ourselves. I know you're not talking about. I don't believe you're talking about Kelleher.
I think he is.
We'd have to give him. We'd have to give him an extension for that to happen, though. He's got 2 years left on his deal, but that's including this year.
It's a good idea to keep him, though, isn't it? If we could keep him happy with a loan somewhere while Alston's still here, maybe. Do you know what I mean? So he doesn't have to go.
Big up to Dara, by the way, Red Armchair supporter. Big up to you. Honesty, big up. Philip, big up. Big up, big up. Make sure I said hello to everyone that just. I saw some new names that are chiming in. I was looking at some earlier comments, and then I just saw people have said hello or at least come into the chat. Big up to everyone that is here with us. We got a nice little group as always. For a nice little walk. That's what it's all about. You'll never walk alone. Is supposed to be our our motif. So we keep it real. Keep it nice little walk. Little walk here. I was going to also ask this question too. Then I have another question.
No way. Has McAllister got an injury? Has he? Someone's saying in the chat.
I think that is what they're saying is that is clickbait news. I think it's because he didn't play I don't think he played a full game. I want to say. Let me double check for you guys.
I sincerely hope he hasn't been injured in any way.
Yeah, I don't think that he played a full game, actually, just so you know.
That could be good or bad news.
It could be. Let me see. Let me see for you. Yeah, he got subbed out in that last game because I was watching those games because there were some big games yesterday for some big games this past week. I know international play isn't exactly everyone's cup of tea. It has been some exciting games, though. I will admit that there have been some exciting games.
Yeah, I've watched quite a bit of the highlights, picked and chose if you haven't seen. There's been some good games, hasn't there?
Yeah. Whether the Scotland game was a good game, obviously. The Hungary game was a good game as well. Dominic got a really, really good penalty kick that he scored. And on this side of the pond, we had obviously, I think I said initially quarterfinals in the day before, but it was actually we're moving on. U.S. men's national team is moving on to the semifinals, actually, which is even better. And we also had, let's see how many minutes he actually ended up playing yesterday. He got subbed out in the, he got subbed out in the 90th minute. So it wasn't like he didn't play pretty much the entire game. He just didn't play they just didn't get him out in time enough early, probably. He's probably wasn't really a stoppage of time in that game. They won that. Argentina won that game 1-0. Those games are important for them because those are qualifying games as well. There were a lot of games, again, like I said yesterday, that were very important games for a lot of different teams. I know that I think it was it Ecuador? Ecuador, I believe, beat Colombia 1-0 yesterday. Bolivia and Paraguay 2-2 tie. Chile beat Venezuela. Venezuela was looking like they were going to be making it to one of their, I want to say it's their first World Cup. Sounds wild to say, but I think it's like
No, I don't remember them ever being in the World Cup.
yeah, I think it would be like their first World Cup submission. That they were actually very, very well involved in the top of the bunch in the beginning of the year, but they slowly but surely crept down to the bottom of the pot. And right now they lost 4-2 game to Chile. At Chile, I watched the game. I was hoping I was going to watch it with Drifty and on his watch along, but I wasn't able to. And he ended up
qualifying for the South American for the World Cup, isn't it? It's tough to qualify from South America.
It is and it isn't, because they just added another spot for them. So I mean, you obviously know that there's not many countries in South America. So there aren't, and albeit there are even countries in South America that don't play in South America's group, you know. So they don't play in Common Bowl. So they play like we spoke on Suriname, for instance. I think a couple of days ago we spoke on that. Yeah. Like those teams play with CONCACAF actually. So they're in our group. So and it's interesting too, because our group has quite a bit of nations involved in it too. I mean, we have like when you get to you think North America, you only think of basically 3 countries, but there's all of Central America as well. Yeah, that is a part of North America as well. So so there are quite a bit when it comes to like El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, those kinds of countries and the likes. All very, very Costa Rica, you know. Then you even get into some of the island countries like Jamaica, obviously, and the likes of those two. Haiti, Cuba, they all have definite good, decent participation when it comes to trying to get into the World Cup mix. I was going to bring up this question too, so let me make sure I have it ready for us.
So have they afforded an extra qualifying spot to the South American team?
I can tell you what the standings are right now if you want to hear them. Right now, Argentina's in first place, Uruguay's in second, Ecuador's in third, Colombia's in fourth, Brazil's in fifth, and then Paraguay and Bolivia are in 6th and 7th. I believe what it is that there's a playoff that's involved as well. So the playoff goes against I'm trying to think of what they call it. They're like Australia, New Zealand, those countries like that. They go against those Pacific countries. Those apparently Robbo has the record for most assists for any other Scottish players in history. That's just Robbo being Robbo, people. That is Robbo being Robbo. Big up, Robbo. Definitely.
That's great news, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely great news. There was, you know what I was going to bring up, and this is kind of like this is all just a walk, so you know we're taking it east, as we say over here. At least we say take it east. And there was a comment about Jurgen Klopp that got put out there. There was a comment that got put out there about Jurgen Klopp and him wanting to move on from Mohamed Salah and possibly to recruit Antony to be his replacement. This was put out there by Paul Joyce, right? Who is a credible journo. I don't understand why this information or this kind of story, especially from a reporter that is well connected. He's part of how like Liverpool tends to have like an inner circle of journalists that they keep. involved with the right information, if you want to put it that way. I don't understand why this is one of the stories that they decided to leak, much less decided to share with the public. I don't even think it really matters, much less does anyone really even care.
Can I interrupt quickly?
Go ahead.
Did you, because I dropped out or you dropped out, is this story saying that Jurgen Klopp wanted to replace Salah with Anthony? Is that the story?
Basically, that's the story, that he wanted to move on, like, as in, this was also when Salah was coming up on, I think, another extension, and it was the parts and points where he was also possibly even talking about like 500,000 or something like that as his asking fee to be a part of, like, you know, to stay and remain part of Liverpool. That was basically the gist of it. Connolly's just speechless, I know. I can only imagine if we had to deal with Anthony right now instead of being able to be blessed with the likes of Mohamed Salah. Debate. And that's still going around too. I don't get it. It's weird how, like, all of a sudden, like, you know, with the I see Hyler's quote or comment. I noticed online there's been a bit of debate whether or not Salah is world class.
There's.
Okay.
We were speaking about this earlier on. I know Healer. I know maybe doesn't always pay attention to the things we talk about, and then likes to bring them back up and tell them to us. So we have already spoken multiple times. I have, at least this season, Healer, about how Salah is ahead of what he was doing. If you needed to look that up, he's the first player in Europe this season to hit double figures for goals and assists.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's done that. Way faster. I've forgotten the word, but his rate of whatever word is much better than his first season. In the first season, 47 goals. He's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Salah isn't just as good as he was. Salah is actually probably getting better right now in terms of output than even his best season, his first season at Liverpool. So I don't know how that's gone on the radar. I don't know how people are noticing that. But he's literally the first guy in Europe in the top 5 leagues to hit double figures for goals and assists this season.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the guy his output is up there. I don't
think it
know
was actually too, like, it's the early. Did you just say it's like the earliest anyone's ever gotten to that?
He's breaking all these bloody records, man. We've been saying this for a summer now. He has the record for everything. Mm-hmm. He's the first guy to do this, the fastest to do this, all of that. Mm-hmm. He's breaking. He's actually setting new standards this season for his personal output. You know, this team, like Dar was saying, the team is also getting to. But again, Dar, please just allow me to speak. When I say I can only speak about the individual when I'm speaking about what he's doing. I'm trying to explain what I was saying to Hylor in terms of how we have been highlighting this. I'm glad you got your big book of stats out, but like Brett is saying, that it's already been, like he said, you can see it on the pitch. I couldn't understand the shout at the start of the season when the guy was putting in either a goal or assist pretty much every game. And I was like, oh yeah, but he's not doing much else off the ball. Let's take him out of the team. I just cannot understand that. And now we have a guy putting out numbers that if he was 28 or if he's 27, all these guys would be making YouTube videos saying, we need to go out and get this guy. We need to go out and get this guy. But because
I really hope this little rest he's got of 2 weeks has reinvigorated him as well mentally, you know what I mean? And he's just like really sharp and up for it, like, because he'll be wanting to play well against Madrid. He's got a score to settle there, hasn't he?
There were some other things they were saying. I just thought it was interesting. I also saw a very interesting report, and I don't know if this was connected to the reason why this came out or why this is all of a sudden something that they wanted to talk about. And I see Pylor bringing up some stats too as well. But apparently, so there was. I'll give you the actual quotes from the article. At least there's an article that was shared that says there have been reports that within the contract, this is apparently for Jurgen Klopp with Red Bull, there was an exit clause where Klopp would be allowed to leave to become head coach of his national side in Germany. However, this clause is alleged to not be included in the deal. That's apparently now what is coming out. It is unknown if the German would make a return to management, but there have been recent revelations within Spain which have caused some heads to turn, and that is Spanish media outlet Relevo, I guess. Relevo. It sounded someone like, I guess that would mean possibly revolution, I guess. But Relevo have linked the ex-Liverpool boss with a move to Atletico Madrid, where he is highly valued. Since the introduction of Carlos Buquero as director of football for the red and white team, reports have come out about long-standing manager Diego Simeone having lost power at the club, and basically they're looking at possibly trying to replace him with Jurgen Klopp. I don't know if that is accurate. I don't know if that's going to happen. I wouldn't want it to happen. If I'm going to see Jurgen Klopp again in a managerial role, I hope it's as a national team selection and not a.
Jay Dan's being back is helpful if Jota and Chiesa remain unavailable for much longer. Because we're a bit stretched, aren't we, for attacking options on the bench with Chiesa and Jota out. So Jay Dan's won't do any harm at all being back, will he?
Well, that's another name. Yes, that is another name that's been marketed out there as being.
He showed he could score a goal, didn't he, for us?
Yeah, no doubt. That's another name that's been put out there that is returning to the pitch. I think it's interesting because originally there was talks, at least during the summertime, there were talks that Dan's was going to make a move, meaning not a permanent move, but at least a loan move. But it was the injury. It was the injury that. Oh wait, hold on 1 second. Wait 1 second, Lee. It was the injury that led to him not getting the move. He had a back injury. It ended up, putting a little bit of a spanner in the works. So he didn't make the move. He's obviously recuperated from the back injury. He's going to be returning to the pitch. Does that mean that he gets a move maybe in the January window for a loan deal? Or does he stick with the Reds? I'm hoping that he sticks with the Reds, to be honest with you. I'd like to see him stay with the team. Go ahead, Lee. Did you want to say something?
Good to see him on the bench to give us that extra attacking option. Why we haven't got Jota and Chiesa? Because we do only have one attacking option on the bench, don't we? And, if we need to turn a game that we're like maybe 2 goals down, and it depends how long Jota's going to be out for. I heard that it was going to be a week or 2 after the international, after everyone returns. So that'd rule them out of City and Madrid, Jota.
And I will return to the Dan's comments, Dan's portion of this, but I know people are commenting on the Klopp mentioning of him apparently going on to, or being interested, or trying to be not interested, but being wooed by Atletico Madrid. Klopp has proven it's not to be a fit for him by turning Manchester United and coming to us. I don't think he would get anything out of the players he could improve and develop. And also he couldn't improve and develop. And then the Atletico Madrid job is the best paid gig in Europe. If Klopp's hungry for money, is Klopp hungry for more money? I mean, he's making, I'm sure, a nice bit of change at his current position with Red Bull.
Yeah, the appointment was made that bit more amusing by the fact that he had been courted by Man United and shown around the empire, and didn't much fancy it. That was a bit of information when it came forth.
Yeah, I think just a few things. Really. I think again what Hilo is saying, the Atletico Madrid jig is the Atletico Madrid job is the best paid gig in Europe. That was a surprisingly difficult sentence.
Yeah, a little tongue twister.
Is crop hungry for more. Last season, up until last season, Diego Simeone was the highest paid manager in Europe. That's not the same as the Atletico Madrid job being the highest paid gig in Europe. And that's a false equivalency. The only thing I would say about Salah is what we were talking about earlier on is that this season he became the fastest player, the first player in Europe to reach double figures, okay, for goals 10 and assists 10. And he did in just 17 appearances, right? He was joined the next day on that list by Marmouche, okay? So that's what he's talking about with people there with numbers. That's what we're talking about when
he's broken a lot of records in his time here, Mo.
Yeah, well, this is what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to get a few things going. Look, I had it written down here. It's the fourth season in a row he's reached double figures for goals and assists, right? But he's currently at his best pace ever for goal involvements per 90 since arriving on Merseyside over 7 years ago, right? With 20 goal involvements in just 1,300 minutes, right? That's an average of a goal or assist every 67.5 minutes in all comps, right? His debut campaign, it was 71. So he's getting a goal or an assist every 67.5 minutes this season, whereas in his first season, when he scored 44 goals and got 14 assists, it was 71. Now, I know that's over the full season. This is it's a smaller sample size, but that just shows you, right? That this guy is not just as good as he was, he's possibly on track for one of his best ever seasons at us. You know, and I mean, he's been involved in over 100 open play shoot ending attack sequences in all competitions, which is at least 24 more than any other player. That's this season. Like this guy is pretty much.
I can't wait to do this other episode that we're working on for you guys.
This guy is putting up numbers that very few people have ever put up in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Right now at 33.
Yeah.
It's
we have some. I'm sorry.
Crazy. No, it's totally crazy if people are talking shit about the guy. And say,
I know, that's why I'm excited. I'm excited. We're tomorrow we'll be doing the Millionaire Show, and then Friday, I believe, excuse me, Friday we'll be doing a show that I've been trying to put together called They Said What, and it's going to be a fun little episode because some of the absolute garbage that I heard being spouted on some of these other content creator shows is absolutely mind-boggling. I've heard people say, I heard people that have also, it's one thing for what was it? What was the player that just said it recently? Troy, right? The player that said, just recently.
Rent a quote.
Yeah, there you go. I know there's some people that actually took that comment and ran with it. And I mean, ran with it to the point where they were just like, oh, like it was a relay, you know, like he was like, he had the baton stick and he handed it to him, and they ran with that quote, and they ran with the point of trying to say that Mohamed Salah is not, it's not a big time player. He's not world class. It was embarrassing, absolutely embarrassing to hear for them to say those things. The blasphemy. But we're gonna enjoy it on Friday. I have the clips. I've been, you know how I do. I take I've got my receipts, and I try to keep those receipts. You know, some people think that they can do the Men in Black thing and try to make you forget, or just, you know, point other directions to try to get your attention off of what they said earlier or what they're saying now, even sometimes.
The idea that wasn't world class, I don't need to hear much more of that. I can fill in the gaps myself and imagine how insane what they were saying was.
Oh man, it was really, really bad. One thing that I am glad to hear, there are some comments I'm glad to hear, and I'm going to include this as like something that you guys might want to hear too, which is kind of maybe the reason why Trent got on Sam Ty from ESPN FC's list of top 5 players, or top 5 candidates for player of the season, or at least top 5 players on the team currently that could be vying for that position or vying for that spot. And this was the quote. He got 50 clips of me training, and he said, this is a really good position. If you turn your body 8 degrees to the right, you get a better chance of making a strong tackle than the way you stand at the moment. Trent said, I was just blown away. It was all positive. And he said, look, I get it. I completely get it. The quote continues on to say, all the players love him. This is Trent speaking on Arnie Slot. All the players love him. Isn't that ace? Isn't that brilliant? He says, this was written about Trent's comments about his new way of approaching defense. And it was a very interesting comment to hear. There's a bunch of different things in the media right now. Obviously, the rumors about Trent haven't gone away. There are some rumors out there. I saw something out there that was such clickbait style stuff. They're doing a PR piece. And let me say this again. They were doing a PR piece. And I could see it too. I could see who it was. There's a girl that does, she does for Liverpool, I think it's for Liverpool FC or LFC TV. I think she does some of the interviews for them. And she was doing an interview with Trent Alexander-Arnold. They're on the pitch. They're walking. Yeah. It was in his home, his part of his hometown.
His cousin works for LFC TV. She's about 17 now. What's her name? Ruby Deschamps. She looks like Trent as well.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that was his. That makes sense.
Only found out years later, but she's been on LFC TV for years.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense how she got on. Then. Yeah, a little nepotism there, but okay, no worries. We'll move on from that. But still, okay. Like there is, they're doing an interview. They're doing it in his hometown, his part of Liverpool. They're walking on the pitch. They're talking. Obviously, he's reflecting probably, and they're trying to put it out there. Oh, is this the ode to that he's re-signing his contract? No, it's called a PR piece. That's simply it. There's no extra about it. Yeah, will they use it if he resigns? Sure, absolutely. But I mean, like, that's just all. It's just another content, just another piece of content for them to be pushing on their channel. There was also a rumor out there that the Liverpool backroom staff are looking to have a resolution completed when it comes to Trent by Christmas. That's the date that they're pushing towards when it comes to getting this all done and completed. So it was just an interesting bit of news out there. I thought I'd share with you guys. A little bit of a interesting rumor per se.
Good look.
Yeah, he did say that too. Honestly, he did say that.
Yeah, good look.
All caps too. I'm sure he said that in all caps.
Yeah, it's 2024, dude. You're one of the most famous players on the planet, playing for one of the biggest clubs on the planet. Good luck in keeping things out of the public, mate. You can say it all you want. All he can say is it will not be out in public from his mouth.
Right.
And he can't. I mean, you want, like I've said it before. It's sometimes, I won't say it again. I know sometimes people mishear the phrase. Well, I'll try it anyway. Nature abhors a vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
And what that means is that if you leave an empty piece of ground, nature will take it over. Weeds will grow, grass will grow. If you don't plant something there, nature will take over and it will plant, stuff will grow. So what he's trying to do now is create a vacuum of information. And if there's a vacuum of information in the information age, people will fill that vacuum. They'll fill it with nonsense. They'll fill it with clickbait. They'll fill it with whatever. You cannot stop that. The only way he can stop that, if he's interested in stopping that, is by clarifying things.
Yeah.
So That's the only
or
thing
just putting it to bed,
either,
or just putting it to bed.
and that's what I mean by clarifying.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I mean by clarifying. He can either shut the fuck up and acknowledge the fact that media are going to make up stories. If there's no news, they're going to make up the news, or he can come out and say, "This is what's happening," and then that will be the story. That's it. Because but the whole time, if there's no news, people will fill it. You know, we don't try and do it. We fill these international breaks with games and different things because there's nothing to talk about. There's literally nothing we're talking about. But these guys have a 24-hour news cycle to fill. And people are looking up Twitter, hashtag LFC transfers on Google every day. They want news, and they're going to give them news. So unless Trent comes out and says, I'm staying or I'm leaving, or not that I've signed my contract, but I want to sign a deal and I'm hopeful to get it done. And there's a contract, we're talking, my agent club is talking, and do that. I'm not expecting Trent to come out and say, well, see, here's what's happening now, lads. I'm going to ask for 750 grand a week, right? And I want this and I want that. I don't expect him to do that.
No,
I don't expect him to do that at all.
Yeah, I don't expect him
I just come out and tell us, you know, basically whether he wants to stay or whether he wants to leave, because it's getting really bloody close. Because on the 1st of January, he can legally sign a deal with Real Madrid. On the 1st of January, he can sign a pre-contract agreement with any club in the world. And that's less than 2 months away. So if he thinks he's grown up in the world of football, if he can't see how this is a little bit of an issue, and how him coming out and saying, I'm not saying it's his job, it should be all on him to come out and say what's happening. No. But he'll know what the fans are thinking. The longer it goes on, they're thinking, well, he's leaving. So if he isn't leaving, maybe if he just came out and gave some kind of a nod to that, maybe I think that would help it along. But
I think that's the reason why people were. That's why. That's why I brought the story about people are just trying to take anything they can, like us, and any hint, any little sign, any little bit of a hint that they think can be a positive.
It points one way or the other.
I saw there was I think it was Honesty dropped a thing in the chat about how people are losing their minds. Is breaking news. LFC fans online are losing their minds because of the Trent Alexander-Arnold billboard in Madrid. Meanwhile, the billboards are also in Amsterdam and in Milan. This silliness. There was also some other things that they were saying too. I think hardly it was all there. I think most of the stuff we did cover that I did start by High Lord, but I'll revisit that in a second. I'm gonna bring JK in, and then I'm gonna also ask for you guys to allow me to just go through. I'm gonna go through a quick walk through all the rumors that I've heard so far, or so far today, at least. And again, it is as if we're getting closer towards the weekend, and the rumors keep building and building and building. So let me bring in JK. Big up, JK. How are you doing?
All good, bro. Hope you too.
Yeah.
Lee and Brian as well.
Hi, Joe.
All right, so I'm going to give you guys a quick walk through this all together. This is all the rumors, or most of the rumors I've heard, at least. First off, Liverpool are reported to be ready to sell Alisson. That is a report that's being put out there. Liverpool are ready to sell both Alisson and Kelleher next summer to prepare for the arrival of next goalkeeper, Mamardashvili, who will make the move to Anfield after his Valencia loan expires. That's according to TBR Football. I don't know how much I believe in selling all of them, because it would go from basically us having 4. Let's just say Mamardashvili is technically a Red, since he's on loan. But it would go from us having 4 good goalkeepers to us then putting all of our stock in one. That's a very, very high risk. Also, the headlines have these quick ones are: Manchester United used Antony in shock Real Madrid swap bid. Manchester City have lead apparently the £100 million Florian Wirtz race ahead of Liverpool and Real Madrid. And Chelsea have set an asking price for Enzo Fernandez. So let me get into these ones real quick. So coming in at Liverpool could be Real Sociedad winger Kubo Takifusa Kubo, with the Reds ready to pay £66.7 million. I doubt that. Slightly above his release clause to land the 23-year-old signature. That's according to how do you say Fichajes? Yeah, it's a publication in Spain. I know Brian's usually good with that kind of stuff. Also, they're both on mute. I got you. Chelsea have warned Real Madrid. It will, say again.
Fichajes.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's what is the Kubo rumor is being related to. The other one was Chelsea have warned Real Madrid it will cost them 120 million euros or 100 million pounds because apparently Real Madrid have interest in Enzo Fernandez. That is according to Defensa Central in Spain. The publications in Spain are just. I thought the publications in England were pretty scandalous with some of the rumors they start. They're next level in Spain. Okay, and also
they're crazier, but they're not as evil.
Yeah, there you go.
The Brazilians are very evil, but they do it in Spain. Like they have TV shows that are like it's just like the TV transfer show. They're apparently they're off the wall.
I believe it.
They're supposed to be completely mental. Some of those Spanish shows, they're like comedy shows, but they're supposed to be like serious transfer talk and all that. Yeah, I've heard about them, but they're supposed to be absolutely
panic voice in Spanish. It's just coming through on his earphone.
Yeah. Real Madrid now interested in Pedro Porro. Honestly, saying okay. You tell us where you heard that one. That's a very interesting one. And I agree with you, honesty, on this part, though. Enzo I don't think that you could get half of what they're asking, possibly. Half of what they're asking would be a come up for them if they were to get it. Because they're not making their money back on Enzo. That's just that ship has sailed long ago. Also on Chelsea's radar are Barcelona's defensive duo of Koundé and Araujo, who continue to be followed by Blue Scouts, that's according to TBR Football. Arsenal have identified Newcastle United striker Alexander Isak as their top attacking target. The Magpies will look to replace Isak with either Everton's Dominic Calvert-Lewin or I'm sorry.
He's on a free in the summer.
Yeah,
DCL is on a free in the summer.
Or pick up that DCL, as I've been now known to reference him as DCL.
Yeah.
Or they're looking at getting Lille's Jonathan David. That's according to Team Talk.
That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. Galatasaray have registered their interest in signing, and I repeat, this is interesting because I think that Son has either just signed a new deal or they're looking to sign Son to a new deal. Apparently, Galatasaray have sparked interest in him. That's according to Fanatic in Turkey. Manchester City are exploring a move for for the center back Castello Luqueba from RB Leipzig. That's according to Football Transfers. Bayern Leverkusen midfielder, as I spoke on earlier, Florian Wirtz is leaning towards a £100 million move to Manchester City next summer, despite interest from both Liverpool and Real Madrid. That's according to Call Offside. Manchester United are prepared to offer winger Anthony to Real Madrid. Sorry. These are
so we can do what?
These are so funny. I'm sorry. These are so funny.
Like, what are we going to do with Anthony? What the fuck?
Yeah. Manchester United are prepared to offer winger. Wait till you hear who they're offering. I said earlier they're going to offer a swap deal earlier. Manchester United are apparently prepared to offer winger Anthony to Real Madrid as part of a deal to sign Turkish midfielder Arda Güler.
No.
That's according to Defensa Central in Spain.
No, that's a silly one. That, isn't it?
I have two. I only have two more.
You got two more. Okay.
Real Madrid midfielder Federico Valverde is the
Yeah.
subject of significant transfer interest from both Manchester City and Liverpool.
But that's obviously
according
true.
to
That's
again
obviously true.
the how do you pronounce it again?
Viajes.
Viajes in Spain. And the last one I'm going to bring up is this one. This one's I got a little bit more detail about. Liverpool have apparently reignited interest, unquote, in former Jurgen Klopp target. The Liverpool are linked with a move for Inter striker Marcus Thuram, Frenchman previously targeted by Jurgen Klopp for a £70 million release clause, could get the deal done. The 27-year-old joined Inter when his Gladbach contract expired and has settled in nicely at San Siro, netting 23 goals and adding a further 19 assists in 61 games, with this season yielding 13 goal contributions in just 15 outings so far.
Interesting.
La Gazzetta dello Sport claimed that form has caught the eye of new Reds boss Arne Slot, who has urged the club's recruitment department to take another look at their reports on Thuram. So those are all the Rumorville posts that I've seen that I thought were kind of interesting to possibly include. Those are all fresh today, by the way. These are all fresh ones for today. A lot of ones that make you scratch your head and say things that make you say, you know, that's a old, I think 90s song out there. But how do you feel about the Marcus Thuram one? Since that one is one that we're related to. If there's one that I spoke on that you really want to talk about, you can include that in your comments too. But the Thuram one, I don't think I think the only reason why this one has gotten some legs is because of the situation with Diego being injured and the situation with Chiesa not being available currently. I think that's the only reason why we're looking at possibly seeing these rumors kind of circulating. But I don't think that Liverpool's going to drop 70 M's on Thuram. I just don't think that's
no.
So. But how do you feel, JK?
Like for me, it's the last person I would ever think of that we need. I think scoring goals isn't a problem. I just feel the midfield lacks a little bit of security there. You know, I just feel that we need a DM. I'm not bothered about the defense. We've got the most clean sheets. We're not letting goals in this season. You know, I think Robertson and Tsimikas can do a job until the end of the season, no problem. So for me, Thuram is the last guy I would really think about, you know. I think the guy from Real Madrid, Valverde, yeah. I think
Valverde,
if we didn't have Szoboszlai, if we didn't have him, I'd be 100% after Valverde. But I think the money we outlaid on Szoboszlai might be a bit too much that we give it for Valverde, and depends on how much he's going to cost, or is he out of contract? I'm not sure.
I have no idea how much it would cost to get Valverde, by the way, because that's going to be at least 100, probably around 100 million.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a Chelsea link. I'd imagine Chelsea to be linked with them. Well, they usually are linked with everybody. Chelsea, the amount of money they spend, like, and the amount of players they bought.
But they don't really succeed nowadays. Under Mourinho, players went to Chelsea and succeeded, you know. I think this new era of Chelsea, players go there and they sort of disappear from the scene, you know.
Mourinho, you mean the Egyptian king?
Exactly.
That's inside joke. That's inside joke.
Kevin De Bruyne.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, so for me, Chelsea isn't really like. I think a lot of players need to realise if you're going to go to Chelsea or Man United, it's probably for the pay the wage you're going to get. Not really about the football, really. You know, like for me, if you're a footballer, you want to win and you want to get paid well. So even if you end up at Liverpool or Man City, you're going to get paid well. You know, it isn't the money maybe United or Chelsea offer you 350 or whatever it is, crazy like that. But success is really important. Look at Diaz, for example. He didn't really get paid well, and he's been with us for a number of years now. You know, he could have easily moved on and kicked up a first. I want more money and stuff. And he's probably been one of our best players this season as well.
Yeah, I think they'd be looking at sorting this deal out soon, won't they?
Say again, Lee?
I think they'd be looking at sorting this deal out soon. Diaz, you know, giving them a bump up like in wages.
Yeah, they got it. Him and Curtis, I would say.
They will. They will.
Like for me, they got a lot of things to sort out off the field.
Or they could sell them. They could. I mean, they, you know.
I wouldn't sell Diaz no more.
Well, I mean, considering.
Considering.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish your point.
No, I'm just saying, like Diaz for me, he wasn't my favorite, but he slowly showed me his all-round gameplay. I think you as well telling me good things about the guy because I know you liked him. But I sort of realized he adds more to the team than just goals and stuff and assists. He don't really get assists. That's the only minus point of his game. Holding the ball, keeping hold of the ball for me is his strong point, and he does it the best in the whole team, probably in the whole league. Trying to get the ball off that guy, man. You can't get that off him. So
like trying to get a puffer jacket off his dad. Ain't gonna happen.
You know what I mean?
To me, out of all of them, Valverde is built for the Premier League. If you had a player like him in your team, we talk about, again, it's something like, I have issues with it when it's used incorrectly. I have issues when it's used to mask over other things. But when you talk about hard work, running, pressing, closing down, chasing back, all of that, what Valverde does, he does that to such a different level. I think his Valverde's running stats over the last 3-4 years, however long he's been there at Real Madrid, are in a different stratosphere to most players. Like the guy covers more ground than two players combined on other teams. He is built for Premier League football. He's got all the quality. He can play on the right. He's done it for Real Madrid, but you wouldn't do that. Going back to something we were joking about the other day, he could even play it right back if you needed him to. But he would be a world-class midfielder in the Premier League. He does all that work rate and he has quality to go with it. And then if you have a guy like that you know he's there, then other people can, what they call in football, cheat a little bit by not dropping back, by not having to work as hard and to therefore be available in more attacking positions. So if you said to me, 100 million, 110 million, we were prepared to put that down for Caicedo. I would put that down for Valverde, without a doubt. I'd do it tomorrow because I think he instantly improves your team. A lot of the other guys, the one with Son is an interesting one. They're triggering an option. He's free in the summer, but they're going to trigger an option, but they don't want to give him a new deal. And that's pissing off Sonny. Sonny is pissed off about the fact that they just want to trigger his option, not give him a
out
deal.
the 1 year.
Yeah. And he's like, well, any chance, because he's 33 now. They're like, he's any chance of an increase, an extension, and they're going to no, just this is Tottenham. They're very cheap. So they're no, we're just going to trigger your 1 year option and then probably use that as a way of getting a fee for him next summer rather than keeping him. So yeah, but a lot of those ones, there's some crazy ones out there. There's no way that they're getting Anthony, they're getting Goulet and getting rid of Anthony. Real Madrid are not fucking stupid. They're not Man United. I think they're selling to Man United. They're not. They're selling to one of the top clubs out there. They won't take their problem child off them and give them one of the best young talents in Europe for it. No chance. Absolutely no chance. The thing with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, he's on a free in the summer. So if the Newcastle fans woke up on Friday having sold Isak and woke up on Saturday finding out that they'd replaced him with a free DCL, I'd love to see those shorty faces. That would be incredible.
But I mean, you got to think though, how much is it going to cost if it is Arsenal that go out there and get him? That's who that was. Team Talk was saying targeting.
Yeah,
that's originally the reason why none of those players. Whether I know I got into a heated debate or not even a debate, it was more like just a shouting match by one person and me trying to drop some facts, but I got into a little bit of a back and forth about the Gordon deal, you know, and the likes of what Newcastle's looking to do with some of their higher priced talent, whether it was Bruno or Isaac or even, again, Gordon. They're looking for £100 million for those kinds of players. They're looking for paydays for those players. They're not looking for, like, they're not trying to just get rid of these players just to, you know, because they're on some, they have to sell. Even when they, quote unquote, had to sell, they were still looking to get a nice bit of profit for them, for those players back. That's why I think they did settle for the two lesser, you know, lesser box office names that they ended up selling.
Anderson and Minte were the two guys they sold.
Yep.
Elliot Anderson and Minte. The guy Minte is the guy they sold him to Brighton. He's an attacking midfielder, but he had played under Slot at Feyenoord.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Slot was a bit of an admirer. They didn't want to sell him, but they had to. But you're right, like Isak, they paid north of 62 million for Isak. They're not taking a loss on it. So you're talking 90 million to get him.
Yeah, that's why I said they're not taking a loss. You're gonna have to spend quite a bit, and I know Arsenal has definitely done better by making Champions League, obviously, by increasing their brand, quote unquote, in the world by doing so. But they did just spend over 100 M's for Declan Rice. There's only so many times you can come out of pocket like that, and for you not to be able to withstand, you know, and be able to keep some of the higher price talent that you have already within your midst. So I just don't understand. I just don't see them doing that. I don't see them making that move, and it's why, you know, again, I have a clip ready to go by Mr. Egal that I'm excited to bring it to you guys to hear it, let you guys hear it Friday. So we'll wait for that one. I'll wait to revisit what we're saying here right now. I have a fun question. We got still quite a bit of people in the chat, and I have a question, a fun question. This is like a throwback. This is about Liverpool, so this is a throwback. It's something I saw, and it kind of got me thinking as to, I wonder who my brethren would take, you know, who they would decide on for this particular question. So I'm going to ask two different questions, okay? Two different questions. The first one is going to be, it's about four players, about four different Liverpool players. We're actually, four different, I guess you could say. Four different in the first one. Okay. And this is my question. Here it is. I'll bring it up here. And wait, hold on. Let me make sure I have it. Let me give it 1 second. I'm going to make sure it's a large enough scale so that everyone can see the question as well. So I'll make sure everyone can see what it is I'm asking. I had seen this and it made me think. All right. So I'll give you the scenario. It is 1-1. We're in extra time. It's the Champions League final. How about that? We've won a free kick outside of the box. Who are you taking to have to take that kick? Coutinho's one.
Yeah, it depends exactly.
Wait, let me get the selections. Wait, let me get the selections. Coutinho's one. Suarez number 2. Stevie's 3. And Trent is number 4. Put it in the chat if you guys can for me. I'd love to see who you guys are taking. But Who are you guys taking in the chat? And I'll ask on the panel as well.
Who's doing a Goodfellas scene? The first scene in Goodfellas.
That's the first scene in Goodfellas. Is that what it is?
No. I was like, I can just hear it's like, the first scene in Goodfellas.
Oh yeah.
You remember it?
No, I'm trying to think of whether. Trying to think of
That
what it
noise
was.
When I was like, oh, someone's eating cornflakes, I think.
Yeah. I think
with a
Monte
shovel.
was getting, I think he was getting the mic ready.
The power of some of Stevie's best ones, his pile driving ones, but the finesse of Coutinho's, like when he got them right, because Coutinho couldn't take free kicks at first, and he learned off Suarez. I remember him saying, "I learned from Suarez," and once he got the hang of it,
He learned well because Coutinho's had some of the most beautiful free kicks
Yeah,
I've seen.
really nice finessed ones, like that aren't blasted, they're just way beyond the keeper, like they're just in exactly the right on a postage stamp.
Yeah,
but Stevie had some great
upper
glasses.
90s, like
Suarez good, Trent good. I would probably give it to Steve.
I'm sorry.
Top corner.
Okay, I'm seeing some answers there in the chat. I figured that it would be. I figured
only one answer for me anyway. Oh,
only one answer for you.
Yeah,
all right, let's go around. Let's go around.
There's no curl on my free kick, and it's about 35 yards, and it just goes straight in the top corner.
let's go reverse order around the horn. Then we'll start with JK. We'll go to the Irishman. Then we'll go to Lante, and then Lee. We'll get your answer. And it hasn't been what I thought it was possibly going to be, which was a all-out sweep, but let's see.
Never getting that in football, mate. You're never getting that in football. Try and get 3 people to agree to something, let alone
Here you go. So go ahead, JK. Well, who are you taking?
Just
give one answer. You don't have to go in depth. You just give
No, for me, Gerard. Yeah.
Gerard. All right, Stevie.
Yeah,
Brian?
one of his straight as an arrow blasters.
Brian.
Yeah, it has to be Coutinho.
Oh my goodness!
Trent is good. I think Trent technique-wise is as good. But Coutinho, I think that little bit extra in his free kicks, a little bit more imagination. I know he learned from Suarez, but I think he very quickly became, the master as a switch from the apprentice to the master. Suarez isn't somebody who I associate with free kicks. I don't associate him with set pieces. Of course, Suarez can do everything. Yeah, Suarez can do absolutely everything. Gerard, for me, back in the early days, he was great. But for me, the little Brazilian, the little number 10, I think to me he could pick left, he could go right. I think he had more of the
some of his best ones. Just that the finesse of them was lovely.
He didn't need to, like someone was saying there earlier on about like Coutinho could like curl one past you.
Yeah.
At slow pace.
Yeah.
Which is the mark of a bit of class. So to me, like you're saying, it's a Champions League final. We're playing against Real Madrid. It's 1-1, or we're basically
1-1
minutes the game.
1-1. This is like extra time, and it's
because it's not unreasonable to imagine a scenario where all those 4 players might have been on the same team. They all kind of overlapped each other a little bit. I mean, almost, 3 of them played together. Yeah. So if we were playing and all those 4 players were on the pitch, I would be picking Coutinho. I'd have him take the free kick.
I love the keeper's reactions for some of Coutinho's best ones. Just like, what was I meant to do there? That sort of reaction, you know what I mean? Yeah. You can just tell from their body language.
Yeah, that's
right.
How was I meant to stop?
How about how about for you, Nalante? And JK, I'll after Lee's done, I'll also bring it back if you want to bring some words. I know I said one word. You only got one word in.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize that. Sorry, I didn't know that.
Right.
Sorry. I didn't realize. Sorry.
No worries. Nalante, who would you say?
Oh, this is an interesting one. It's final 1-1. The easy answer is Stevie, but again, we're talking about a free kick.
And it's against Real Madrid. We could say it's against Real Madrid.
Madrid, yeah, and it's a free kick. So I have to agree with Helio and Brian. Coutinho for me. He's got Gerard. He's just more finesse. He's got more whip on the ball with his free kicks, similar to Suarez in a different way. Yeah, he's just technique. He's just
Yeah, that's best ones, like with the powerful ones. It just went.
This is it. Yeah. But Gerard's exactly. Gerard's more predictable with his free kicks, but with Coutinho, he can do. He can spin it. He can swerve it. Yeah. It's got to be Coutinho.
So Coutinho, I was not. I thought it was going to be. I'm seeing what the chat's saying. So I'll let Lee get his pick in, and then I'm going to include what the chat has to say, and then also let JK also before that get a mention in. Go ahead, Lee. Who are you going with?
Yeah, I love the finesse free kicks that Trent can do, that Coutinho got the hang of, but I'm going to pick Stevie in this imaginary thing to do one of his 35. I really wanted to really far out because he got a couple that were really far out, didn't he? So, yeah, that's the type of free kick I'm having there. I'm picking him to pull one of them out the bag.
Okay. JK. Did you want to say something you want to add? Because I want to make sure I'm an equal opportunity person, so make sure.
For me, I've always there's like two types of penalty takers: ones who sort of place it, and the ones who sort of whack it. And Gerard's the sort of whack it type of, and place it at the same time actually sometimes. But he's a whacker, you know. So
you can blast it in. Yeah.
So I'm going with Gerard.
You know, we're talking free kicks, right? Not penalties. You just
not penalties, free kicks. Yeah, outside the box too.
Yeah, he can do everything.
Oh yeah, no, he's okay. No, I was just sorry when you said penalties. I was just okay, yeah, but yeah, cool, yeah. So you're going, and nobody's gone with Suarez. Okay,
no, they were both deadly in their own way.
No, Suarez was good. Suarez was really good too, though. Suarez was really good.
If you ask me, there's a guy out there on the pitch, and he's really class at football. And we need to take a free kick. One of them is Brazilian, one of them is English. Do you think I'm giving it to the English lad? Come on, he's just going to bait it with the back of his feet.
Oh, wow. Wow, that was low.
You got to give it to little Brazilian magician. He's going to be it. Yeah. Hey,
let me give a shout to the chat here and say what they got in there. Red Armchair Supporter said Stevie. Philip said Stevie. Honesty said Stevie. Let's see who else gave an answer. Hylor said Coutinho. So that's interesting because we had the panel had two Stevies and two Coutinhos. Honesty said he's just Mr. Clutch for sure. Robert said Stevie. See that it was like the chat hands down pretty much went with Stevie.
Wow.
KJ said Stevie. Hash said Stevie. Callum went with Coutinho. So it looks like the split is basically Stevie
80-20. Yeah, but see, Nalante, it's a matter of people who prefer a little bit of class and finesse in their life, like you and me, and the more blood and thunder types. You know, they just want to hit hard and see what happens. You know, that's it. That's to be expected. That's to be expected.
Some bands took our free kicks when I was a kid.
I thought that was interesting. I thought
you can go either way.
But no Trent. When you said you were thinking,
no. Wait, don't say no Trent just yet.
When you said you thought it was going to be a clean sweep, did you think it was going to be a clean sweep for Trent or a clean sweep for Jared or for someone else?
I thought it was going to be Stevie G. I thought it was going to be a clean sweep for Stevie G.
Yeah, I was expecting those.
I mean, with all he's Mr. Clutch. He's Captain Fantastic, whatever you want to reference him as, like as in Stevie G has brought back all crazy memories when it comes to his abilities.
We're talking about taking a free kick though, which is what we're talking about here.
Oh, I know.
That's it, right? Yeah.
I did reference number 10. I gave that little caveat for Real Madrid, by the way. That's why I thought maybe someone would go with Trent. Because that would be great. Trent ends gets gets the
It's
game
got me
winner against
interested
Real
now.
Madrid.
It's not
Does
beyond
like
the
the
realms
Triple
of
H.
possibility that he could score like, next week.
No,
Calls him a
it's
shush.
just got me interested now actually to go and look at Suarez free kicks, because I know he didn't take that many. I know
He
he took a
didn't.
few.
He didn't.
Yeah, so but
When he
I'd be
was in
interested to
that,
go and
when he was
see
in that
actually.
hot streak,
But he takes them
wasn't it?
for.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
does take them
Yeah.
for Uruguay. He does take them, or did take them.
Oh yeah,
for his-
back in the day, I'm sure. Yeah, I'd actually be interested to go and see how good he was at free kicks.
Oh, he was
'cause,
good.
Yeah,
He was good.
no doubt he was good.
Yeah.
No doubt he was bloody good. But he never would have gotten them at Liverpool as much, you know.
No.
No,
So
no, no. I think
that's
him.
something I'd be interested to see, because I've no doubt his technique was right up there.
Yep. Yep. So that was an interesting one. I thought that was. I'm glad to see that the participation, and I appreciate the participation in the chat. By the way, we had the 2-2 split. I did not break the tie. So.
Remember when Stevie was in the last years of his career, he got a few of them free kicks that he placed along the floor next to the wall, a couple of sly ones. He was also capable of them, one he like catch the keeper out.
I will say he is underrated. Well, obviously not by. I would have said before tonight, dealing with the chat there, but obviously a lot of Liverpool fans. But if you would ask the average Liverpool
Pick up, Az.
fan on the street to say, name 5 things you think of when you think of Steven Gerrard, none of them are saying, "Oh, his free kicks." Like people, like only fans that not only fans, but fans from back in the day that remember.
Pause on that. But
yeah, there was other people, but when you think of like what made Stevie great, what made Stevie great, this, but I wouldn't have thought free kicks came up there. But when you actually look back at him, he actually was a fantastic free kick taker.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was excellent.
Yeah. But we always had kind of someone else around. Maybe Risa got a lot of free kicks, and then there might be somebody else. Yeah, he shared him around a bit. He was never just like Trent is now. Like with Trent, it's like he's taking every free kick. Now, back then, there was a lot more of kind of, well, it's this side, it's that side. You take it, he takes it.
But that would be the great thing about it. If all 4 of them were like, you know how they do the committees and everything, and then I know I heard that too, Red Armchair. That's why I dropped the pause, by the way. You had all 4 of them like lined up, and they could all like take a run at the at pretending to kick it. The goalkeeper would have to like figure out which one's going to actually kick it. That'd be interesting too. Yeah, I dropped the pause for him on that one. I saw that.
It's not my fault that previously innocent words and phrases have now become whatever. It's not.
I know. I just don't want you to get clipped up. So there you go.
Back in the day, you used to be able to call everything a Pornhub, and now it's dirty for some reason.
Oh wow. I don't know. Okay, there. All right. We have about like 20 some minutes left in the show. So
yeah, he never scored.
Roberto Carlos he was good.
He was good. He didn't actually score. Like Cristiano Ronaldo has an awful record from free kicks. Awful.
But he likes to step up and take them though.
Yeah, he did that knuckleball thing once about 15 years ago, and people haven't shut up since.
I'll tell you,
probably scored about 3 free kicks since then.
Pirlo was a player I thought was an amazing free kick taker.
Yeah, Reese's against Man United.
I know that you didn't get unless you watched him in Italy, you probably didn't see him play it too long.
John Arne Riesel's free kick against Man United at Anfield that time.
The
crossbar.
Yeah, that's what Baz is in the house. Pick up Baz, by the way. He was just saying Agar and Riese.
Yeah, Agar versus Chelsea in the Champions League semi. Yeah, that was a boss one, wasn't it?
Yeah. All right. Since that went so well, I will ask.
Can I just tell you my top 2? Can I tell you my top 3 of all time quickly?
Top 3.
The top 3 greatest. The top 3 greatest free kick takers of all time, in my opinion.
I think you might have given this, but we go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's just I'd be interested in what the top 3.
I think when you're doing I think you did it when we were making the Frankenstein.
Oh yeah, that's a long time ago. But it would be Michel Platini, Zico, and Juninho Pernambucano. those, as far as I'm concerned, and I could probably back it up, are the 3 best free kick takers of all time, especially Platini in terms of numbers, Zico in terms of numbers and ability. But Giannino Pernambucano has scored free kicks that I've never seen before in my life. He could score from 40 yards like it was from 15. That guy was weird. Whatever he did with the ball, it was
the
weird.
Other Janino, I remember him. Yeah, he's good. He was good.
Yeah, but Giannino Pernambucano, if nobody knows who we're talking about, just Google his or look at his free kicks for 5 minutes, and you'll be like, okay, now I get what you're talking about. You don't have to say you agree or he's number one, but if you've never seen him take free kicks, he could take free kicks from angles and areas that you had no right to even take a shot from, let alone score. And he was banging them in. Him, Platini, and Zico.
Yeah.
Those to me are the 3 best.
It's one of the most delightful sights in football, isn't it? A well-crafted free
Oh,
kick.
absolutely. There is nothing better, really, is there? I mean, there's very few things better, is there, than a guy stepping up from 30 yards and just bending once. And like you said, like when a keeper is just rooted to the spot and going, what?
Yeah.
There's few
What
better
was I
things.
meant to do there?
Yeah, few better things than that.
Yeah. I said I would give you one more, and then I'm going to open it up to the chat and the panel to ask them for the last, I guess, 10, 15 minutes of the show, anything that they want to include in today's walk. But I did say I have one more. Okay, let me bring this one up too, because this was another fun one. I thought this would be a fun question. All right. All right, so this is, of course, going with the premise that not being structurally held on to the formation that we have. Okay, so I don't want to hear about we play a 4-2-3-1, we play this or we play that. It's not the point. Okay, it's not the point. Here is what I would say: if we could replace 2 players and be able to utilize their talent. Like, you know how we had that like legacy pick, okay, for our lineups when we were making out the lineups at one time, just as recently. Which would you go with? Would you go with choice A being the top choice or choice B, which is the bottom choice? Okay, and it has nothing to do with being on the bottom per se. Okay, but who would you like to see a part of this team, part of this club, part of this squad? A or B?
Where are you going?
A or B? Would you want to have
Ricky.
Torres and Gerard, or would you want to see Suarez and Sturridge?
Leave the shoes alone.
And that's a healthy Sturridge, obviously. It's a healthy Torres as well.
It's got to be Gerrard and Torres, mate. It's got to be Gerrard and Torres. Them 2 at their peak, them 4 at their peaks, I'd pick Gerrard and Torres.
Interesting. I mean, you're talking about a Suarez that was, setting goal-scoring records and stuff and the likes.
So was Torres. Like, if he wouldn't have got injured, Torres was deadly.
Coco.
I think Coco.
You have to take the pair, though, don't you?
You have to take the pair. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's the Stevie thing, like
that's the thing. You see, you've skewered it there with the Stevie thing. No one's going to say no to Stevie.
No one's going to say no to Stevie. All right. I wanted to see if anyone was going to go with Suarez and Sturridge.
If you'd have put Stevie and Peter Crouch, I might have had to think about it, but not with Torres.
Wait, Stevie and Peter Crouch? Is that what you said?
Sorry.
Yeah, I wouldn't pick Suarez or Sturridge over Stevie Crouch, not Stevie and Torres.
All right.
I mean, like if you said this, and I'm sorry, I don't want to because
imagine adding Stevie and Torres to what we've got now. Torres in the middle with Salah on the right, Diaz on the left, and then you've got Stevie in front of, or Stevie with Gravenberch and McAllister. That's it's tasty. That
the only thing I'm thinking is because it's a shout between Stevie G and Sturridge. So if you said like, would you take Stevie G and Torres or Stevie G and Suarez? Because you have to, because then you're giving them.
I feel you.
Because to me, with those two, it has to be the Stevie Torres one because they're like Torres' favorite player of all time.
You
In
get
that
one
role
in
for
each,
me,
aren't
one
you?
of
You
them
get the
definitely.
midfielder and a striker.
Yeah. But if you said you can have Stevie and Torres or Stevie and Suarez,
I think Sturridge gets sometimes undervalued. Sturridge was
no,
like,
of course he does. Of course, no, it's 100%. But I just mean the way it's set up, people are just going to go with the Stevie question. They're going to pick Stevie. I think most people. I mean, like that essay or like Suarez and Sturridge pretty much came within what, one Crystal Palace game of winning us a league. You know, but I mean, I think we saw from the Stevie avalanche in the free kick question earlier on, maybe he might be.
All right, and then how about this? Out of the four, I'll adjust the question then. Out of these four, what's the combo that you would go with? What's the two that you would take then?
Because I couldn't pick. That's what I mean. I couldn't pick between Stevie and Torres and Stevie and Suarez. Either one of those things are absolutely devastating.
Interesting.
I suppose I'd still go with the top two because Torres was one of my all-time favorite players, and he came along before Suarez. And Suarez with the whole, bitey bad talk stuff. I'd go with I'd still go because Gerrard to Suarez or Gerrard to Torres in that game against Chelsea, like instant telepathy. You know, I'd take that. Yeah, I'll take that.
Okay. If you were to take out, let's say, because I know Stevie G is always going to be the pick for everyone. I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. That skews it all the time. I get it. I understand it. So then let's say you replace Stevie G with Alonso. He's a beloved player and a great player.
Alonso and Torres versus Suarez and Sturridge.
Or no, you can just take out. Just say you replace Alonso in this four.
Oh,
and you could take two players. You could take any two players to be a part of the team today. So Stevie's not a part of this scenario. It's Xavi, Torres, Suarez, and Sturridge. Out of those four players, who are you? Out of those four players, which two players would you include in this current Liverpool team? It's a tough one, I know. I do have an idea of who I would take.
Go up there. Come on.
I do have, but that's why I was wondering if you guys did.
I'll go with Gerrard and Suarez.
I see.
I was just waiting for lads to come in. I didn't want to talk over.
Go ahead, JK. You can start it off.
Yeah, I would go with Gerrard and Suarez if I could pick out of the four, but I'd probably go with the.
Gerrard's not a part of the equation anymore. Let's just say to make it easier, because I know everyone's going to go Stevie G. Like the same reason why I said before in the other question, I thought it was going to be like a Stevie G sweep because everyone loves Stevie G. You know, there's and every sentence always starts with Stevie G, and then whoever else comes later on. You know,
pretty much, basically.
So to make it more interesting, I'm saying let's put in Alonso into the equation, who is another, I think, world-class player.
I'm going with Sturridge and Suarez. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Lee, who would you go with?
Yeah, Sturridge and Suarez to play with Salah. That'd be a good front three.
Okay. I know. Could you imagine that? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Delonte, how about for you? Or I'll start with the Irishman because Delante's on mute. I'll start with the Irishman first, and then I'll bring it back to Delonte.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I am one of the few guys in the room that can say no to a Stevie G. And in that especially like because you made it even easier for me now. So it's going to be Alonso and it's going to be Alonso and Suarez
Okay.
because you put Suarez in the middle,
Mm-hmm.
and you put Alonso alongside Grav with Mac in
Mhm.
the 10.
Mm-hmm.
Bish bash bosh, off we go.
Mhm.
We're winning everything.
Okay. 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 Nalante, if you want, oh, I see you're with us again. Do you want to give your answer? You have four players. Four players knock on the door and say, "Hey, Slot, we want to play." And it is Alonso in his prime. It is Torres in his prime. It is Sturridge in his prime, and it is Suarez in his prime. All four fit and healthy. Who do you say? You can only take two though. Who do you say join the team?
Alonso Sturridge.
Wow.
A man of class. A man of class.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
You got to get Alonso in that team, don't you? You got to get Alonso in.
Yeah, yeah.
You think
Darren
they
needs.
go with McAllister and Gravenberch? Alonso.
Interesting.
Xavi
All
Alonso,
right.
mate.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna hide. I'm not gonna hide.
What do you can play with anyone?
People slept on Coutinho, Sturridge. Oh, they did. They did, KJ. That was they did.
Yeah, Sturridge is my guy.
I think
He's
Sturridge slept on too much.
You wouldn't need. I know Suarez is there, but you wouldn't need Suarez in the team, and you got Sturridge because Sturridge can basically do not to Suarez level to a certain extent. More very underrated Sturridge. Very more clinical.
Remember his
Yeah,
chip outside the area? It was just a really outrageous chip. I can't remember it.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
That was Crystal Palace. I think we won. No, was it West Brom? No, I think it's West Brom 4-1.
Yeah, it was West Brom.
All the goals were quality. I remember. Yeah.
That's right. That chip.
Oh,
Yeah.
they drove each other on. I don't think there's there's absolutely no doubt whatsoever that Suarez.
There's no wrong answer. There's no wrong answer.
Not really. No. We're talking. We're just debate.
By the way, I'm just saying.
Yeah, they worked it out pretty quickly, didn't they? A partnership, like.
Yeah.
I got you, Robert.
You know what I mean? They were good at different things, like, and they made it work well, like, didn't they?
It was a
Yeah.
highly
One and a half.
That team just couldn't. That team of Rodgers just couldn't defend, could it? Is basically what it was.
Yeah.
It was based around the attack, wasn't it? That we got close to the title that year, and it did come out of bloody nowhere because we haven't been anywhere close to the title in a long.
Yeah, it did, and just average goalkeeper.
I'll be controversial then. I would have taken Sturridge and I would have taken El Nino as the two I would have chosen. I'm taking both.
Oh, fair enough. Sturridge and El Nino. Okay.
Yeah, and then you can keep Salah and you keep Lucho. Since we do play like sometimes, like a four in the front practically. You know.
Yeah. Sturridge can draw back. He can, if needs be, he can draw back a little bit deeper.
Yep. And you got two speedsters that could either go, either one.
Yeah.
Move the pieces
take those runs. Yeah, either one can take the runs as long as they commit to the counter press. It would be lights out.
Yeah, 12 exactly. I was about to, you read my life. Imagine the fourth of running. Forget it. It's a wrap.
Oh my goodness, it'd be done.
It's a bit like Salah Monday when the peak running when it was we counter pressing. Yeah. But four of them, oh god, forget it.
Yeah,
forget it.
You hear
that's how you start with a front four of Sturridge, Suarez, Diaz, and Salah. Pretty attacking.
Yeah.
I got to get an Alonso in anything. Got an Alonso in your midfield, and then it opens up everything for you. So, Sturridge. I mean, it was weird. That was one of the most. I've never seen a front two really like that since two kind of real. Not out and out number nines, not wide players, not number 10s, but Suarez. There's absolutely no doubt about it that they drove each other on. Well, I think Suarez drove Sturridge on as well to kind of be like, well, if he can score outrageous goals, I can score outrageous goals. And like that front two of him. Like that's one of the few times, maybe probably in 12 years of playing fantasy football, I picked 2 strikers from the same team and just left them there all season because that's kind of not
They're just
something you
that
really
good.
do.
Yeah.
They were just it was like, basically at the start of the season, the chat was FPL chat was, so who you going with, Suarez or Sturridge? Because you can't have them both. That goes against good FPL play. You don't pick 2 players from the same team, yada yada yada. And then after about 3 weeks, it was like, do you have enough money to get both in your team? Because you can't do without both. It was just every single week, Sturridge, Suarez, goal, assist, 2 goals, hat trick, bang, bang, bang. That season, people say he gets slept on. Look, I think sometimes players do get forgotten about a little bit, but I think it's hard to say. I think it's very easy now for someone in 2024 to say Sturridge was slept on. Sturridge is slept on. Rewind the clock, go back to that season. No Liverpool fans are sleeping on Daniel Sturridge.
No, we were
We're
knocked
all
out.
out there going, this guy is unbelievable. This guy is class.
It's
If
just
he
the
stays fit,
injury.
he does it for
It's
the
just
squad.
the injuries halted him, like, didn't it? You know what I mean? Progressing more, like, but what he had was excellent, wasn't it? Like, I mean, he was a really dangerous forward. And after Rodgers, like, I mean, he did get at least a chance again then to play, in a half decent side or a decent side, like, and he scored some crucial goals for us, like, didn't he? And you know what I mean?
Inventive goals.
Well.
That was the thing about Sturridge. He could score a goal you'd never seen before. Suarez could do that as well.
Yeah.
Sturridge would score as like, what's he doing there?
Yeah, he did a lot of outrageous ones.
This is a good point.
Outrageousness was brilliant. Like, I just loved
a really good point.
I
agree with that.
What's he saying? Which one?
He said Rodgers kept rushing Sturridge back from injury, which ruined him his ability to stay fit. Kept rushing him back because he needed him.
It is gutting, isn't it, when you've got a really good player, like, an injury stopped them. I mean, when he stayed at the club and, like, it wasn't the same Dan anymore, like, right at the end, and it was a shame, like, the injuries had stopped him, like, but he played a big part still. He got his medals, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
I was pleased for him, to get his medals, like, because, he deserved them.
Yeah, he was still there when we went to the Champions League final.
Yeah, about to say he's got a Champions League final. There's a funny video of Dominic Szoboszlai. There's a funny video of Dominic Szoboszlai after the League Cup final, and I guess he was getting accosted by a Chelsea supporter that was giving him what we call the bird, right? And all Dominic's reply was he picked up his medal, took a little bite out of it, and was just like, what's good, bro? And just kept it moving. And all that matters is, like, at the end, you're part of the club, part of the team, you contribute, and you get to the final line, and you get across the final line like that, you deserve the accolades. So big up to everyone that does and gets us there. We're going to be ending the show, but doesn't mean that we won't allow for everyone to get a final say or something that they want to bring up real quick. So I was going to say, Lee, is there anything you want to say to people before we allow for them to move on with their hump day, their Wednesday?
And just thanks everyone for being here. Thanks for your contributions. We'll see you again.
Okay. And Brian, do you have anything you want to say to the people before we let them enjoy the rest of their Wednesday?
Say to the people or things I want to bring up before we go, or just
either or something you want to bring up. You can bring up in your final thoughts.
Yeah, no, I suppose we went through it. We went through a fair bit earlier on. There was a couple of things, but there was nothing major. I mean, did quickly anybody have any kind of thoughts on Guardiola signing a new deal with just a 1-year thing?
I wasn't pleased to hear it. I was hoping he would leave at the end of this season, but whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Because because I was quickly. Do you know what I think that's literally all about?
But that
is
they know he
share
knows.
price. It's share
Oh,
price. Yeah,
Oh,
it's basically like saying, okay, this is a club in trouble, right? With all the shit, right?
yeah.
They're dropping down the leagues, yada 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 yada. Now I know they're majority owned, but it's not so much share prices. But I just think it when you've got all these things looming over your head, then to come out with a sort of I think what you call it in the US like a shit sandwich, sort of bad news, good news, bad news. You've got some bad news with this, but oh no, good news. Pep has signed a new deal. Oh, more bad news. I think it's a little bit PR in that. I think it was just trying to throw a good story out there because if he'd come out and signed a new 4-year deal, you'd be like, oh, right, okay, he's serious. He's sticking around. He's got a plan. But 1-year deal? No.
That's a
That to
good
me just
lens to
thinks
view it
PR.
from. That yeah, it is a PR thing, like
Yeah,
because they know
thinks
that
of PR.
bad times are approaching rapidly.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, oh, look at Man City. It's, oh, don't worry, Pep isn't leaving. Oh, we may be doing this. We're bad in the league at the moment. That can't be denied. But it's sort of, oh, this is bad. This is bad. This is bad. It's, oh, and the manager only has 9 months left. It's like, no, he's signed up again. Yeah, but he's only signed up for 1 more year. That to me, I don't see it. I think it's a little bit of desperation on their part, and it's good to see finally. I think. Because we've all been around a while. We've seen these stories play. There's nothing new under the sun, as they say. We've seen these kind of variations of these stories play out before. And when you see a manager like that coming out, a guy I think is pretty jaded, it's in the middle of a bad news cycle. Let's put out some good news. There's an option for a second year. Okay, nice one, Bass. If anyone thinks he's going to be in 3 years' time, they're crazy. No chance. I mean, this is a guy from Barcelona. This guy who's, cultured, he lived in New York. He's been living in Manchester for a long time now. He's not going to be he's not going to be hanging around there when there's,
I haven't
not saying
seen
he's
an
gonna
interview
win,
yet, like with him since he's signed his new contract. So I'll be interested to see what he says when they ask him, about why he decided to sign a new contract. I'll be interested to hear what he's got to say.
No, I was just wondering, did anybody have any kind of, or did it just pass by as a kind of like, yeah, that's a nothing story? Because I thought they were trying to make it a story, and I was like, nah, that's failed to land as a good news punch, if you know what I mean.
No, I know how city people are. I've heard how some of the city citizens have turned or tried to spin it. I'll tell you that much. In that they are certainly spinning it the way, at least I heard Vader, for instance, spinning it, whereas he's thinking that it is, or even Taz, I think, was from Manchester United as well, was spinning it, whereas he thinks that him signing a new deal is basically him saying that him knowing something about the 115/130, because there's 130 charges apparently, but the 115 is already the number that already sticks out there. The 115 charges are going to be in their favor, and that's the only reason why he re-signed, because he wouldn't re-sign with City if it was bad news, or if they expected bad news to happen, he wouldn't re-sign. I say, I don't know. Just because he resigned doesn't mean he can't quit. So
yeah, he's never previously lost 4 games in a row hitherto, has he? This is the first time it's happened to him. So like,
Hyler just said the same thing I just said. Okay, yeah.
He's in his worst run results that he's ever had, as far
Maybe he
as I
said it
know.
earlier. I was about to say it. Yeah, that's how I looked at it. That's I don't necessarily agree with it, but again, we'll see what happens with this city case. I'm hoping that the powers that be make the right decision.
It's Spurs, isn't it? Their first game at the weekend. Spurs, isn't it? Yeah. how Spurs can do us a favour there.
No,
You know,
just quickly to what Healer is saying, that Guardiola is a good indicator that City won't get charged for those 130 charges. That's one way of looking at it, but like I said, I'm also looking at going, that to me means maybe they're expecting bad news. You know, so there's multiple ways.
at least
We
one of them
won't know.
charges has to stick, surely. Not all of them can be duds.
I agree totally with Robert is saying. That's a big part of it as well.
I'll bring up that.
If players know a boss is leaving, it doesn't take long, but it does go to shit eventually.
That's what this comment here. What you saying, right, Robert?
About keeping the players focused, just say, "Oh, I'm not going anywhere. You need to book up." You know, that kind of thing. If you think you can play badly because I'm going to be gone in 8 months, or I'm going to be, it won't matter. No, I'm staying, so you better book up, kind of thing.
Oh, I got what you're saying.
I had nothing to base this on, but I sort of assumed he just wouldn't sign a new contract and would just leave. But I was wrong there.
Yeah, I was saying that. I thought Klopp left. Sorry, no, not to go ahead. Go ahead.
No. So I was gonna say, Brian. I was just gonna say, yeah. I mean, his demeanor and some of his quotes look like it, but again, it's all rules, and we have to be careful now because the last time he signed contracts, 3 contracts have all been this time, November, around about this day. And they've gone on to win the league. So hopefully we don't get a repeat because we know their charge is going to be coming and wants to get players back. So we need to be on our P's and Q's, regardless of what I think now. Yeah, they're coming up. They're coming and they're coming free.
They've won 6 of the last 7, haven't they? So, like, to imagine.
Yeah. Just that.
Practically, that we worry about them, that's just not going to happen.
Exactly.
That they're going to come back at us, like, isn't it? I just don't do them, like, when they get here anyway next weekend, because that'll help us tremendous, help our cause tremendous.
Well, again, we're exactly, Lee, we're here to break records. We're here to Manchester start. I mean, I'm not too fussed about him staying or going, if I'm honest, because I'm more really focused on us. But I think the fact is for Pep, he's settled there. And yes, one of his best mates, one of the directors, Tiki's leaving, but he's got other people, obviously the chairman, they all love him. So he's content and he's happy. He loves the job. Otherwise, he wouldn't be there that long. We all know for the obvious reasons. So he's thinking, let me do the 10 a year. So it gives City more time to look for whoever that successor is in a year or 2 years' time. So it works out for City, really, to be fair.
Why can't they do a YouTube live stream from the courthouse so we can see talk, comments and that and laugh at it?
Yeah, you can imagine that. Yeah, live from Liverpool 12th Man podcast. You'll get a big fat letter from the Arabs saying, "No, yeah, excuse me, you're not supposed to film with that. You're sued." So, they're gonna have the top launches lawyers. So yeah, right, yeah, preferably not.
They do have some of them courtroom live streams, don't they, from America on YouTube? You know what I mean? Obviously, it's not like football. And that, but
yeah, they do. Yeah. In certain instances, we've all seen it. Even Brian, Brian, you're gonna say?
No, I was just saying, not every state over there, but yeah, a lot of them you can watch their people on trial, live. Or if not, then they'll show it on TV.
A highlights package at the end of every week for us would be good of the City trial because it's been going on for quite a while now. So a highlights package at the end of every week would be nice.
Oh, well, you'll get one at the end of every day from the journal. Like there will be journalists there. There will be people like journalists that to sit there. They won't be a broadcaster, but they can write down everything that's said, or you can record everything that's said, and then tell you afterwards. That's what you're going for. Oh, today they talked about this, and today and tomorrow Guardiola will be not taking the stand, as it were, but he'll be giving his evidence or whatever, but you're going to hear it, and it'll be. Look, I know everyone would love to see it on TV. 90% of it would probably be the most boring shit in the world. So you're better off just watching the 10 minutes or whatever, if they did.
Yeah, the highlights package.
Yeah, the highlights, basically.
Yeah,
you don't want to watch them arguing for 4 hours about the meaning of the word this or that, which would be a lot of that stuff going on. Technical crap that they'd be arguing about for days and months or what
There should be
hours, you know.
some funny bits though about like the black sponsorship companies and that.
No, it'd just be great to get some names because obviously there's going to be names. Like, I don't know, like a lot of this stuff even goes back to like the first story I really remember here. Like, we all knew it was a bit dodgy, but the first one that was a big one was the Mancini story, the Mancini one, where
Yeah.
it was common knowledge that basically they were paying him like 2.5 million a year to be manager, right? That was what was on the books. But they also hired him. They basically created a company that didn't do anything, made him like chief consultant from that company, and then set up like an invoice where they paid his company, which is basically him, another like 1.5 million a year. But they were only saying they were paying him 2.5. Like that was, and that's like what, 6, 7 years ago that's come out. That's how long we know these guys have been cooking the books.
Yeah.
We know they've been at it from day one.
They've not done a great job of concealing it. That UEFA thing was annoying. And he come out, banned them from the Champions League, and then very quickly unbanned them. But that was a nonsense. That was complete nonsense. Saying, oh, the time thing, it was too long ago. Like, seriously?
Yeah, they lost their nerve. Oh, you get it. You'll get a million Man City fans out there will tell you that there was a case brought against them and they won it, and it was thrown out of court. And it was like, technically it was thrown out of court, yeah, but they'll tell you, no, they brought all these things against us, and we were found innocent, and it was thrown out of court. And it's like, yes and no. It was thrown out of court because it was statute of limitations, basically. It was too late. You weren't found innocent. You weren't found, the charges weren't thrown out as laughable. It's just like, yeah, sorry, it's the 2nd of June. If you had filed this 3 days ago, but it's too late now, you literally can't do anything. It's time barred. Time barred was the phrase they used.
It's all a bit silly, isn't it? They either did
it's
it or
literally statute of limitations. It's like, yeah, we know you murdered that guy, but you did it 27 years ago. If we caught you 2 years ago, we could have done you for it. But now it's too late in state of where, in English, so yeah, you needed to do this within 6 years or 5 years or whatever it was. But Man City fans will tell you to this day that they were found innocent and that it was thrown out of court. It was like, no, it was literally just too late.
I found that one hard to stomach. Like, I was nigh on incredulous when I heard that crap.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like finding out your neighbor that, like, attacked like your best mate or something, but they only caught up with him 15 years. Everyone knows you did it. Like, he put him in a wheelchair, whatever it might be. But oh well, it was too long ago. We can't charge him now. Everyone knows what he did.
The way City fans have used this as some sort of shield, like against the flack that they're getting about these new charges, saying, "Well, we tried once before and we were proved innocent." Something. No, you went. Not one.
Mm-hmm. No, it's all jealousy, apparently. It's the only thing we have against City is jealousy, apparently. It's just jealousy. They didn't do anything wrong, and we made up a load of findings.
If it was real, like, I'd accept it, but it isn't real, is it?
Yeah, but everyone was jealous of Manchester United back in the 90s. Why didn't they do it then? You know?
Well, it'll all come out in the wash.
It will. It certainly will. Lord Panic is going to outclass the FA in court. Well, we'll see. We shall certainly see. We shall certainly see. Well,
it
is. What did you say?
Have they got a bloke called Lord Panic? Yeah.
That's who is their you guys call him solicitor, right?
Yeah. That's a great name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, chief lawyer. He got him off. I'm not even sure if he's working for them anymore, but yeah, he was the guy. And he wasn't. This is the thing. Before he even took on that case, he was just Panic. That's his second name, Panic. It's only recently he's become a lord. So I mean, the guy is literally a lord. He's in the House of Lords, as if he's like appointed by the king. These are the kind of people.
Great names. Lord Panic's a great one. I'm trying to think the one that I really buzz off. Sorry, I can't think. But yes, it is funny.
Mhm.
Lord this and Lord that.
It's not Game of Thrones. They're still making people lords and ladies, you know? It shows you how
There you
crazy
go.
England.
Oh, man.
All the same. I know that it's tough. It's tough for a lot of citizens out there. I know that again, the allegations against them are not looking like completely in their favor. I don't see how you can get 115 allegations against you and you get away with all of them. If not 130 allegations out there and get away with all 130 of them. Or not be guilty of just one, much less the majority or all. But we'll see. I guess we'll see. We shall see. They'll have their day in court, and that'll be how it is. But I know that if they are, if it is something that we do see happen, I know for a lot of us, you know, it'll be something that we think is it'll be fitting. It'll be somewhat fitting. It'll be sweet justice, I guess, if it does happen. But we'll see. We'll see. They're innocent until proven guilty, of course. And so I guess it's all. I guess if you were to say, I guess if I were to ask Steve Harvey if it was up there, if they're not in there, I guess he would say something different, probably. But
let's hear from him.
Yeah, we could hear from him. We should hear from him. Tell you the truth.
Show me that lazy gravy.
Yeah. We should hear from him.
You're just trying to give the safest answer you can.
I was trying to get the safest answer.
You know good damn well that ain't up here. Gravy.
Gravy.
There we have it.
Funny, man.
Oh man, I love that. That clip never gets old for me. I'm sorry. The little things sometimes amuse me. But Delonte, is there anything that you would like to say as your last thoughts on the evening here?
No, nothing for today.
Yeah.
Nothing for today. Just big up the chat. Big up everyone in the panel. And yeah, man, we'll see you tomorrow.
Okay. Easy enough. So we will see you guys back tomorrow. We'll have Millionaire set up for you guys tomorrow. It's going to be a fun show, very, very fun show. So KJ, definitely we'll be in touch to make sure that you get on the episode for tomorrow. It's all about the gravy for tomorrow. We'll see who gets it and who doesn't. So again, thank you for joining us today. What's that?
No, but just make sure you do say. Have you been in touch with KJ? Because I mean,
KJ's here. He's right there.
Yeah.
He sees us.
Yeah. So you are very much but he is very much invited onto the show for that tomorrow night, right? It's
Oh, I didn't even know Jimmy was a part of the chat today. Big up, Jimmy, by the way.
Yeah,
Big up,
nice one, Jimmy. So yeah, KJ, make sure you got your notifications, everything turned on. So
What's oh shit.
Yeah. Make sure it's all ready to go for sure. Because
Gravy.
that's what it's all about. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Up the Reds as always. And
Peace.
definitely be safe. Be safe out there. See you guys tomorrow.